A little bit of an Americana edge to it, a little bit of an indie rock edge to it. And we've been playing for a few years. We just put out a new record this summer called The Distance in Between, and we've been very fortunate to have a lot of people say that they like it.
Me included.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Now, I want to know, this is not the first CD. How many CDs have you put out so far, Dave?
The Rationales have one other EP from 2007 called The Going and the Gone. I put out a bunch way back when, before I really knew how to home record properly. I don't like to share those with too many people. Some songs I had to get out of my system, and some buttons I had to learn how to press. And, you know.
Those are practice runs.
Yeah, you can probably find them online if you really looked. But
and a couple of those made it onto our EP.
Yeah, actually, a couple of those songs were, when we first set up the band, the guys liked those older songs, and the first record had a Cliché, I think, was on there from one of my older things, and we were playing a couple of those songs live for a while too. But now it's all the Rationales.
Yeah, and so how has this CD and making this CD differed from the first time out of the gate with the Rationales?
Sure. Matt?
I definitely thought it was a lot more collaborative in terms of the writing process.
Yeah.
I think we were a lot of the EP songs. You know, Dave had a real arrangement in mind, and we definitely wrote all the arrangements together on Rationale's Distance in Between CD. So, we also spent a lot of time overdubbing and putting lots of extra bells and whistles on this one, which was a lot of fun.
Bells and whistles, I like the way you say that. That's great. The Rationales, The Distance in Between, you can check them out. I'm just going to smash it with my hold on. You can check them out on Facebook. Are there any performances coming up?
Yeah, we're playing on September 9th in Worcester at Ralph's with the Lights Out and Hey Now Marshfield. And then our next big Boston show is the opening of the new club Radio in Somerville by the good folks from the Rosebud. And that's on October 7th in Union Square, Somerville.
I was going to ask you where it is. It's in Union Square?
Yeah, it's formerly was called Club Choices, which was a dance club, but now they've turned it over and made it a rock club, and we're going to be psyched because we're going to be the very first band to play there. Opening the first night.
Wow, very, very cool. Yeah, it's been getting a lot of buzz online, so I'm excited to
people love those people at the Rosebud, so the thought of them having their own place is definitely good news, and there's a lot of other good people involved. It's going to be a good club, I think.
Now, take me way back, and then we'll get into the music, but, you know, how long have you been singing and writing music, playing guitar? What came first, chicken and the egg? Is it in the family? I always like asking this question.
Yeah.
Are you musical roots or?
A little bit. My dad, when I was a really little kid, played bass or took bass lessons, so there were always these like great jazz basses and key basses laying around the house. And I just was like, oh, that's the coolest thing ever. But I took piano lessons, I guess, for a little while when I was a kid. Don't really remember much, but like to tinker. But it was really like, 8th grade, Aerosmith, Zeppelin, Floyd, I have to do this. So started playing guitar, and then got into Dylan like a year later, and was like, oh, I have to write songs, and just sort of fumbled around with it until other people could be deceived into thinking I did it well, and kept doing it. I went to Fitchburg State, and when I was there in the early 90s, there was a really great music scene out there. A lot of good bands, a lot of good people, so got to play as part of that. And that was, that was good.
If I hijacked your iPod right now, what would I hear?
Well, if you were to look at what I've been playing recently, it would be a disturbing amount of REM, because it's getting on fall, and that's all I like to listen to in the fall.
Really?
Yeah, I love REM. I love REM, and I'm a very seasonal listener.
Yeah.
So fall sort of goes through like college indie rock phase, back into Americana phase for the late fall, and
I love that.
Newer stuff. There's a band from Toronto that I'm a huge fan of called The Wooden Sky. Listen to a lot of them, and tons of local stuff. Love all the local bands and listen to them pretty much non-stop when I'm not listening to REM on infinite repeat.
I admit to going onto your page, your Facebook page, and getting some ideas for new music to check out. I'm not going to lie.
Nice.
You are influencing me, sir, so thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Olivia Newton-John, was that the Xanadu recommendation that you took to heart? Sorry. We have to believe we are magic.
about you? Give us a little skinny on your background.
I played classical piano when I was little, and then I got really into jazz in high school, and then in college I played jazz, and I was in like the people in my house, we had a band together that would play around Pittsburgh. I went to school in Pittsburgh. That was sort of like folk, somewhere between folk and jazz, so that was a lot of fun. And then I got to Boston, and all I did was go to Toad every night. And then I decided to join a rock band because of that. So.
Did you meet Dave at Toad?
I did not. I met Dave on Craigslist.
That's right.
It was originally...
Wasn't even a music ad, it was a personal one.
That's right. We had a lovely candlelit dinner together.
We found out we played music, and we said, all right, well, scrap the relationship.
Well, we got to get to the music with this build-up now. So Dave and Matt are going to take their places here, and we're going to jump shortly into the music, and then we'll probably play about 2 songs, and then we'll take a break and come back and play some more music. So you're going to hear tunes from the Rationales, and again, their newest CD, which just came out just a few months ago, is The Distance in Between.
We should mention too, we should give away a copy of this later on tonight.
Yeah, that's right. You've got a couple there in the studio there with you, John, so we'll give away those CDs as well in just a little bit.
Think you're at 9:45?
I like it. You're so specific. Very good. 9:45. Mark it down, folks. All right, check out the Rationales on Facebook, also therationales.com, and that's where you can find, a little bit about the band. You can keep up to date with the shows that are coming up. The next show is at Ralph's in Worcester on the 9th, and of course, the opening of radio over there in Union Square in Boston. So, or technically Somerville. So check out therationales.com, and without